Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Brenda Lane. So, y'all, today has been quite the day, and I want to talk about what it means to know when the jig is up. When is it time to say we're done, we're finito, we're not doing this anymore, it's time to leave? That's been running heavy in my mind today for several reasons, but it just makes me think about my overall makeup, especially as a person who is an only child, an adoptee, and also orphaned, all at the same, or all within my childhood. So, yes, for myself, a theme of my life often feels like I am on the outskirts of established groups, whether that's from nuclear families or certain peer groups or work groups or really just anything. I always have felt like, let's not say I'm on the outskirts of things. I've always felt like an individual. I've always felt, for the most part, very assured of myself and very used to my own company. So because I know that I'm a unique person, just like everybody else, I know I have a very particular way of seeing the world. And how that would manifest itself would be like, outwardly, I am confident seeming. I come off as confident, but I think I come off as confident by force. I have had to make so many serious decisions on my own, and this has been ever since I've been 15 years old when my mother passed away. And it might have even been before that because I was still an only child before then. So yes, I always have to make these decisions and be self-assured in them. So I come out that way outwardly. But what many people might not know is that I do spend a lot of time questioning myself. And I question myself because I don't recall growing up receiving a lot of validation, whether that was from adults, my peers, society, just nothing. I never got validation. I've always had to source that validation within myself. I could never outsource it to friends or a lover or my family. It's just been, I have to be confident in whatever decision I make. So I'm noticing that a lot of times I do make decisions and I question myself. I question myself greatly, but I might not always let people know that. So with that being said, a lot of the questioning that I have done, or unsurety I felt about myself, was wanting to make sure that other people had a good perception of me, that I had a good reputation, that people saw me as valuable or helpful, or they saw me as needed, whichever. I always just wanted to be included or referred to in those ways. And it has, in some ways, morphed me into a people pleaser. Because yes, I want people to be happy. I want them to be happy with me. I don't want to cause too much discord. And because I know that I am an individual, especially by just the cards that have been dealt in life, I have to be a certain way if I want to be included in groups. Yes, I just always felt like I had a group tax. Like if I wanted to be in a group or around a group of people or a certain type of people, I had to pay a tax to be able to fit in that group and stay in that group. And that was my way of trying to avoid the reality of my life, which is that, you know, I don't have living parents. I don't have siblings. I'm not married. I don't have children. It's me and like the friends who I choose and who decide to choose me back. That's it. So yeah, it morphed me into a people pleaser, and I always wanted to manage people's opinions of me as much as I could. But over time, it's just become really, really hard to do because it's a form of self-abandonment. So, with that being said, this makes me think about some of my friendships as I was coming into my young adulthood. I would manage these friendships by basically just accepting the bare minimum and trying to do what I could to show up for them, but not even realizing I'm doing this at the time. I was busy into paying my individual tax, and if I wanted to be included in something, I would basically show my value. I would front load my value to these friends. And everyone perceives value differently, but the way I showed my value was either by, showing up to events or celebrations or different milestones that my friends would have, or just being flexible, accommodating to their needs. It could be being a listening ear and just holding space for a friend, especially one who is, having complex issues or just needs something or needs someone to talk to about different things that they're experiencing in their lives. And while I am offering this to these friends, looking back, I was never really offered that in return. Like, I never had friends coming to meet me halfway or hold space for me or basically helping me, because everybody thought I know that my perception was of the strong friend, that I'm fine, I'm good, I'm regulated, like not much will get me down. But yes, as I look back all of these years later, I really feel that I was settling into just getting the short end of the stick in a lot of my relationships. And I also see that it was because, I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be included and cared for. So we fast forward some years ahead, and I just realized a pattern with that. And the pattern is not always listening to the signal that it was time for me to leave these relationships or these dynamics with these people. Usually what would happen is I would sustain these friendships or relationships, and there would be little signals going off in my head that this isn't right for me anymore, or this never was right for me, or it's time for me to go, or I just feel like this person doesn't respect me enough, or they don't want me around enough. And the way that I would eventually learn the lesson is that some type of tragedy would happen, and I was always the butt or the face, whichever body part you want to put it as. I was always the butt of the tragedy. I always took the shortest end of the stick in the tragedy. I was always the most impacted. And while everybody could walk away from whatever it is that happened, I was the one who was not able to, and my life was impacted in some type of negative way. It's happened just about with most of my friends in the past. And it always forces me to sit down and think, how did I get here? But, the thoughts weren't as well-rounded until a few years later, and I started getting into my 30s, and I'm like, it's still happening. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not listening to the cues of my intuition about warning me about things that no longer serve me and what I should do in those moments when I realize that something is no longer working for me. Instead of listening to the cues of it's time to go, I stayed and really ended up having these life-shattering lessons, so to speak. And it just makes me think today, because I am experiencing something today where I am having that same type of interaction where I'm getting notified, or all the cues are signaling to me that it's time to leave a situation that I am involved with. And I won't give specifics just because, but yeah, just know I'm having this lesson today and I can't unsee it, and I'm noticing it, especially because I have been working on leaning into my intuition and not waiting until it's too late to be like, ooh, I should have listened to that. But yes, so I'm involved in a situation where the signals are telling me that the jig is up. It's time. And, you know, the situation that I'm talking about is not something that I can just wipe my hands clean of at this moment, but I can be strategic about it. But it's just a reminder to myself and to you all, or whoever this resonates with. May you always be tapped in to that moment where you realize it is time to go. Whether you are no longer needed, wanted, or respected, instead of stooping down trying to manage people's opinions of you or to try to make yourself be seen in a more favorable light, I don't know, I'm just not there anymore. I can't do that. Instead of doing those things, leave. Literally leave. Because on the other end of that is you staying and you sacrificing yourself and you giving all of yourself to something that is already kind of a lost cause. Once people, places, environment, situations, dynamics, whichever, once they make up their mind or perception about you, it's really hard to undo that in the other entity. It's hard to talk them out of it. It's hard to bend yourself in ways to convince them otherwise. And not only that, it's degrading to yourself. And I don't know, I just feel like the other end of that is you keep putting yourself out there until you literally walk yourself into ruin. Knowing when to leave can help save your mental health, because it takes something energetically, mentally out of you to try to make a situation what it's no longer. It saves your mental health, and potentially it could save your life. And in my case, that has been the premise. You know, a lot of these examples that I've given in situations in the past where I should have listened to the notion that it was time to leave and I didn't. I literally, just about every time, almost lost my life. Literally every time. I feel like I've had so many near-death experiences just because I wasn't fully tapped into my intuition. Or no, let me not word it like that. I was tapped in but not listening. And I wanted to stay longer to see things through and just to say that I'm a solid person and I'm not wishy-washy. Forget that. I'm no longer doing it anymore. And yeah, that's just, you know, I am a person, I know myself, the feeling of guilt is a feeling that is very triggering for me. I know that now, so it doesn't have as much as a hold, but if somebody really wants to get into my psyche, the way to do it is to guilt me or shame me or something. And it's going to make me want to try harder, do better, stay longer, and see things through. But that era of my life is over. I cannot afford to do that anymore. I value my mental health too much in my life to allow a person, place, or situation to take those things from me. So now that I'm growing, I find so much more value in not questioning myself as much. Self-preservation is at the forefront of my mind at any given time at this point in my life. Especially because I see that if I sacrifice myself, nobody will save me from sacrificing myself. They'll just let it happen. They'll watch me fall and be like, dang, that's crazy. You good? You can get up? You got it? Like, that's pretty much what it feels like. So yeah, I'm not here to be guilted into anything anymore. I'm not a fan of seeing things through just because. None of that. I don't think it's safe. I actually, instead of feeling bad about being a leaver, now I'm proud of it. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to allow myself to be beaten up for things that have expired. So, yes, moving forward in my life, that is just a feeling that I want to pay attention to, noticing when something has expired, and rather than trying to see it through or guilt myself into staying, I gotta go. Nothing in life is permanent. The only constant in life is change. And I trust life to continue to change and show me opportunities that I could take to lean into the changes that I will always come upon. I never want to get too comfortable in a situation because things will change. I think the only thing that is promised to all of us is death, the finality of all of this. But if I can do what I can to make sure that it's only on God's terms, not on the terms of society, that's what I'm going to lean into. So yeah, if you resonate with this, just a reminder, it's time to go. Go and don't feel bad about it. Because what you're gambling with is staying in self-abandoning or death. Sorry, it sounds very drastic, but it's just not healthy to be in that way. You got to put yourself first and not feel bad about it. So, even maybe you're like, well, what if, it's not directly said that I'm no longer needed, wanted, or respected, or forget if it's not directly said. Even if it's not, it's said in one way or the other, whether it's subtle or little words or little jabs or just little interactions where you notice like, something's off here. I don't know. I just pray that you're always tuned in and you're paying attention to those signs, because the signs are always there. It's your intuition going off, telling you, here's a sign. So yeah, from here on out, I am fully leaning into this intuition. I'm trusting it. I don't feel bad about who I am or what it is that I need and that I want. I'm putting that before other people and places and just society in general. I'm leaving and I'm going to continue blossoming in my life and making the most of it. So yeah, that's all I got for you today. I am going to tap out here and just enjoy this new level of intuition I'm really leaning into. It's a different level, but yeah. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more reflections just like this, and I'll see you next time. Peace.